Nothing happened. We had fun, we did some good stuff, some bad, and nobody cared but us. The problem was how to make the public at large care, really care about what we were doing, how to get their attention, because we were not rock stars. We had to access the public. It didn't seem possible. We made it our goal. Whatever it takes, Rex said. We knew we couldn't do anything that had anything to do with art, not in the traditional sense. The public at large didn't give a flying hoot about art. Art was pretty stuff, or goofy stuff, or pointless stuff, or disgusting stuff, but it wasn't anything you had to pay attention to. So we weren't going to do anything like that. We wanted to do something riveting. We wanted to rivet the public at large. We couldn't do anything monumental like build 5-story hot dogs. We didn't have the resources. We didn't want to get into pornography. Shocking images were what we needed, but that really wasn't our bag, and besides, it had been done just about to death. Rex had a design for a blimp that he wanted to sell to a condom manufacturer, a real attention getter, just the thing to cover the Super Bowl, but we didn't think it would ever really fly. It was just a fantasy, so we gave it up. We needed to do something forceful. Rex had this story about a farmer and a mule where the farmer would hit the mule over the head with a shovel, and somebody said to the farmer, "Do you have to do that every time you want him to start?" And the farmer said, "No, he starts when he wants to. I'm just doing that to get his attention." The public at large wasn't going to notice us unless we took the initiative. Of course, they're good at ignoring us, Rex said. Ignorance is their specialty. And Rex was calling us guerrilla artists, which I took to saying as gorilla artists, which we just shortened to apes. That's what we were. We wanted to make primitive, or at least basic, because it didn't have to be crude, art. The way graffiti is like cave paintings. Not new, old, Rex said. The oldest trick in the book. That's what we wanted. Fire, he said. And our objective, as we began to formulate it, was to derail the business-as-usual express. Try to make it stop for a moment. Rivet. And take a look around. Maybe take a look at itself. Just notice something other than business as usual. Rex called it planting a seed of thought in the walnut-sized brain of the lumbering beast. We wanted to step in amongst the news, weather, and sports and tell the public at large that there was something else going on. In order to do that, we had to go on the offensive, which probably meant being offensive, which was perfectly okay with us, and probably being misunderstood, which again was more than okay. In fact, that's what we wanted, for people to misunderstand for a little while, confuse them, shake them up, take away all the comfort and security, the familiar, make them realize how fundamentally undependable life is, because people in society spend most of their time trying to cover that up. So we understood our job pretty clearly. After that, it was just a matter of figuring out how to go about it. Logically, it was impossible to get the attention of the public at large on an individual, personal basis, so we decided early on that we would use the media to amplify our message. The message itself seemed to suggest itself to us rather than the other way around. In other words, when we considered what it was we wanted to achieve rather than what we wanted to say, the choice presented itself. We really didn't care what we said, because we knew that no matter what we said, it could and would be misinterpreted. So there was no reason to issue any carefully worded statement. There would be no statement at all. There would be the absence of a statement. This, we were sure, would get their attention. Nothing is more disturbing to the business as usual public at large than an emphatic absence of a statement, an incomprehensible or enigmatic message that cannot be ignored. We built boxes, a lot of boxes, and they were well-built boxes, if I may say so. That kind of pride and craftsmanship is probably some leftover vestige of the whole artist trip. Any old boxes might have done, but we built trim, sturdy ones, 2-foot cubes out of 1/2-inch plywood. And then we wrapped each cube in heavy black plastic, creating our black boxes, our product, our art or artifact. The art, as we saw it, would be our documentation of the public at large's reaction to our artifacts. We would place our black boxes at strategic locations around the city, namely the major print media consisting of 2 daily newspapers and 1 monthly magazine, electronic media consisting of the 3 network television affiliates, 2 independent stations, and 1 outlet for PBS, plus 7 radio stations, 3 AM, 4 FM, attempting to cover talk, music, rock, country, and classical. Locations of major public access, the post office, city hall, public library, the arts center, shopping mall, fountain, and statue of civic leader, as well as several other sites chosen at random by throwing darts at a map of the city. We needed to take responsibility for the proposed installation of the artwork, but anonymity was important for at least 2 reasons. One was our conviction that an empty message should come from no one, or at least a mysterious source. That element of mystery, going way back to the PMP, was absolutely essential to the entire plan. It was critical that the public at large not know what was happening or why, or from what quarter. Second, there was the clear possibility that the public at large would take offense at our installation and label it a criminal activity. What they do not understand is quickly designated sinful or illegal. For that reason, it made good sense to protect our identities. We decided to call ourselves collectively the PND because, as far as we knew, the PND had no meaning other than the PND. Henceforth, the PND would be whatever it was. We decided to precede the installation of the work with a message in the form of an announcement or warning. In the old days, such a notice might well have been called a press release. We thought of it as public relations, and it seemed to be the proper way to initiate our relations with the public. Because that was it, we realized. We wanted to have public relations. We wanted to relate in public with the public, flagrantly, and maybe, if we were lucky, have the public relate with us. We prepared a letter that would be sent to the occupant of each drop site. The letter would be received the day before the scheduled installation and would constitute official notification of the activity. The text of the letter was as follows. Occupant, we greet you in the name of art. We are the PND. You have been selected as the recipient of a PND work of art. You are now part of that work of art. This letter is too. Much of what the final work will be depends on you. More will follow. Tomorrow you will receive a work of art. And you are not alone. Art is generous. Art involves the entire community. Please see the PND enclosures M6 and M7 to identify your fellow recipients. Further information regarding the design and construction of these works of art may be found in PND forms R2 and R3, which have also been enclosed. The PND hopes you will participate as fully as possible in our effort to enliven and enhance our beautiful all-American city. PND. Naturally, we realized that by being directly, blatantly truthful, we were, in effect, being indirectly and subtly deceitful, and this pleased us no end. We felt an obligation to perform the time-honored, perfunctory task of fessing up, knowing that our admission would be ignored. The busy people at the target sites would come to the word art in our announcement alert and would pitch the entire communication in the nearest trash receptacle. We knew that we could count on this in each and every case, art's reputation having preceded it. And so we knew that, on the following day, we could count on the element of surprise. Enough cannot be said about the element of surprise. It goes hand in hand with mystery. First comes a surprise, then mystery. Mystery is when everything suddenly becomes surprising. That's what we were after. See the history of warfare, check the strategy of advertising, watch a football game on TV. The unexpected has an advantage, and the unexpected was one of our main themes, if I may use that word. So we felt a bit proprietary about it, as if this was our baby, if you will. It took us the entire night to install our complete work in 25 separate units. However, I must insist that we did not see the work as 25 distinct parts. It was a whole, one project, the PND network. We viewed the night's work as broadcasting, much as a farmer broadcasts seed, and electronic media broadcast pulsations through the air. Nevertheless, I will admit that making the drop undetected at some sites was much more difficult than at others, despite extensive scouting on previous nights and 2 complete dry runs.